think that's me on the one viewer. Oh, Nico, you're already here? Awesome. Alright, let me check and see. I feel like I'm yellow. There's no sun. We have so much cloud cover right now. Alright. How are you doing today, Nico? I'm having a slow start here. Alright. So I did download dbeaver last night. Probably, I haven't really gotten to mess around. Maybe after we get the prime numbers stuff going and we get some traction with that and we get that all finished up, then maybe we can look at some SQL stuff, because I don't know, I haven't really poked around with the design and the layout or the sizing or even the color. Let's see if I can get this, because I'm pretty sure that white background looks awful behind me. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, all right, so prime number. Let me get back over here to see anything that's pertinent, and I have Discord. There we go. I got Discord and the stream beside each other, so I can see them. So prime numbers. Let's look and actually see what prime numbers. So, all right, let's put this in a doc string. There we go. Prime numbers 1 and its self. So if you really think about it, could these be two endpoints? That's where my brain goes first, is two endpoints, the very first one and the last one, but we have to check in between. I believe it's the invite that is the one that's on all the default. It should be working here on everybody, for everybody. Let me, where would it be here? I don't want to hit back but it should be the same one in the description to go to the Discord. It should be the same one, and I'm getting since I've been doing the live streams, I've added more since doing the live stream. Yeah, we're at a max, because I had been stalled out at like 290 and getting, actually that's a lie, about 280, 88. Been going back and forth between 288 and right now I have 295. So I know most of the links are working. Let me say that. All right. Okay, so prime numbers. So if we were going to find, when you create an invite, you can set things, when does the invite expire and how many people can join with that invite. I think I knew that. I think it's unlimited, I believe, but you know what? I'm not a Discord expert. I probably need to look into that, but that's a very good point, Nico. I will certainly do that. All right, so prime numbers. Let's get back to this, because this and the chicken nugget being one of the first two really complicated, or in my opinion, very complicated problems to solve, was very interesting to me. All right. So first we need to check a number to see, and I haven't done this in a while, and I don't want to cheat and look and see. I want to kind of do this all together and see how we can do, because we have a few hours to kill this morning. For me, it's morning. I think for most everybody who's jumping on here, it's not morning anymore. So, all right. I think def is prime. Let's start here. So one of the main things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to think about what is a way to describe if it fails or if it passes, and the rules. And I call this the peanut butter and jelly explanation. We started out with the is even. Well, first is prime, then is even. Have we done is even? We may need to go all the way back to is even. Let's do this first, and then we'll do is prime. Is even. And then we can expand upon this. So, all right, I changed my mind. Is even. Check Discord. Got it. Strings are just arrays of characters. Java. No, strings are objects that need special methods. C++, strings are just arrays of characters. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, that's pretty. that's pretty accurate. That is 100% accurate. I like that, Nico. Thank you. All right. We take in, so for anything to decide how a integer is, what bucket does it fall into? We looked at modulo before, right? Let's see, 6 modulo 2. So wait a second. So perfect definition for is even. Let's do pass here so this doesn't throw up. Pass. There we go. Is even. How would we describe an even number? Well, I know one of the explanations that I usually get is, well, it goes up by 2. All right, that is partially accurate. But then that's human brain. Now let's convert it over to Python brain. Integer, int is evenly divisible by 2. Ooh, Julio? Oh, modulo. Oh, okay. Modulo. This right here, the percent. It does a variety. It does the main thing that you're going to use it in this example is to finding the remainder. So a good example of here, 7 divided by 4 is 1.75. But 7 modulo 4, you get 3. That's what it's called. That's what I learned it. I learned it as when I was first reading I forget the Python source was to call it modulo. I mean, there may be another name, but if there is, I have completely forgotten. So if x, now we also have to do an equivalency here. Let's go back. So if is 7 an even number? No, because there is a remainder of 1. Is 6 an even number? Yes, because it has no remainder. So this is a perfect example. All right. If x modulo, and we know how to do equivalency, right? Correct? Everybody know how to do equivalency? I actually don't like that. So we're going to test. Let's do this one. Equivalent to 0. Okay. Percentage symbol. Yes, it is a percentage symbol, but in this use case, in this example, while you're using this, here, Python modulo operator. That's so you have operations, operators, and then old string formatting. It had a use, but yeah, it's an operator, just like just like a plus or a minus. So here we go. Aha. So if the remainder is 0, or another way to say it, if it has no remainder, that's the thing that is very pertinent of the description. So I go back to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich example. Return. Oh, let's just do print. Let's stick with even. Kill this. Yes. Else. Print odd. Stick with consistency. F9. So is even 5 odd 6 even 4. So it seems to be working exactly the way we're expecting. Look at it. There we go. Odd. Okay, cool. So now that we have this understanding and we have this under our belt, now we need to attack a prime number. So now let's come down here and let's look at is prime. So let's peanut butter and jelly this thing. Is prime. Bring in x. All right. In case, is anybody super new here before we get into this? Is prime? Nico, is that the, how does that work? Okay. The is even? How does the is even work? Because I don't want to go too fast. You talking about the if or the else? Or both? Okay. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're good. You're good. Does that make sense? So we're testing if it has 0 remainder. So if 2 is evenly divides evenly into our x. And let's actually talk about this because a lot of places fly right by this. Does everybody understand that this is local? And this took me forever. That everything in here that refers to x comes from the argument that is passed in by the user of the isEven function. It's a good question. If I need to expand upon it, just say yes. I don't think the chat is that late or that delayed. Why does... It's the only thing I don't like about scheduling. I can't hit the live button to see what you guys are seeing. All right. All right, everybody good for me to move on to is prime? All right. So let's, like I said, let's peanut butter and jelly sandwich this thing. So as we go through, we need to... Yes, you want me to explain the x argument? Okay. All right. So in this example, I'm using a variable, an argument. So when it's inside a function, it's an argument. And you're passing in an argument, so inside the workings of the function, that is your variable. So as you can see right here, as I pass this in, now don't get don't get concerned because I remember when I used to do this and I'd do like X and I'd go, okay, oh my God, it has to be X. And then because it's an X here, so I have to assign it to X. No. Sample equals our bunch of ones. So then I go is even, then I pass in sample. All right. So this is the argument. It can either be a variable or it can be whatever you want to pass. Well, no, not whatever. The information you want to pass into. And what I should have had is I should have had a doc string here. Enter an integer. Is it integer or integer? Okay. I'm going to make a Python file that uses the built-in interpreter and just adds something that I would like. Okay, that sounds cool. Enter an integer to test if it is an even number. All right. F9 this. All right, is even. Boom. And then here's my doc string. Enter an integer to test if it is an even number. And then I pass in my 98. Oops. Close parentheses. And I get my even output. All right. Does that make sense? Or do I need to break this down even more? And it's fine. I completely understand breaking this down because if you all would have seen how bad my understanding was when I was first learning Python 11 years ago, I took huge breaks because I remember there was a while function for a blast off where it counted down, where I couldn't wrap my head around using the a while loop. That stumped me. That was very. All right, cool. Infern, I've not seen you here yet. Is this your first stream, or have you been around and it's first time asking questions? Either way is cool. Just wanting to know who's hanging out. Nico has been awesome and has been hanging out with me for a few days now, and he's helped me out in chat a little bit. This is the second stream. Okay, very cool. Don't know if I'm going to feed the dogs again today, but Nico knows all about it. It might get really loud, and I might be gone for about 3 or 4 minutes. So just FYI. All right, so is prime. So like I said, let's peanut butter and jelly this thing. All right, let's get rid of all this. If you guys didn't see yesterday's stream, go back and watch that. We did some pretty cool stuff. Oops. Why didn't that delete? There we go. All right. So we need to think about this. All right. That's just Facebook. Okay. So we have a prime number here. Or is prime number question mark. That is not a question mark. There. Question mark. So we need to go from 1 all the way here and test every single number through. Well, wait a second. Do we? Or are we going to test 1, then we're going to test 2, then we can test 3, then we can test. That is not a 5. 5. Do you have a Discord notification off? Because when I send something, you don't seem to notice. No, I don't know what's going on. I get everything else. I'll check on that after. Yeah, I usually hear chirping. I don't know if it's because I'm on a stream, but I usually hear everything. I mean, it seems to be so loud. So yeah, Nico, that's a great point. Is even, return true, return false. All right, let's look at this for a second, and then we can look. I don't know if this lines up, but Nico, let's go ahead and let's put pass in here so this doesn't throw up. All right. So this is a little... yeah. You clean this up. Well, let's get this. I don't know if you're an interpreter. But yes, this is actually a really good way to clean this up. All right. Does everyone see how this can work? I sent you a 3-line version of your even thing. Yeah, this is 100% perfect. So here is a very compact way to do this, and it's absolutely awesome. And it utilizes the functionality of return, because right here, so let's kind of unpack this. So when you hit everything below return in the path is called dead code. So Python has this built-in feature that it does some very coolness to it. So let's go through this. So if this header is triggered, if this statement is true, and that actually took me a long time to figure this out. That what I just said, does that make sense? The header has to be true for this to be engaged. Everybody get that? All right. So then by default, if this is not true, so if it is not divisible, it comes down here and runs this return. So this is a extremely compact and cleaned up version of this. Nico, this is very good. So, all right, that's a great example. All right, let's comment that out. We'll leave this here. It's like we're putting that on the refrigerator. Nice work, Nico. All right, so let's go back here. So now why am I able to skip 4? Because we're going to speed up this algorithm a little bit. And I remember I did this all the time, and it took me a while, because 4 and 6 and 8, they will not be prime numbers because they're divisible by 2. So the only prime number that is an even number is 2, because it is divisible by 1 and 2. The only one. Because if we take any other even number, divide it by 2, its divisor, its remainder is 0. So that is wrong. So when we come through here, and after we get past 2, we can begin to increment up. I'm actually getting pretty good at writing with a mouse. I didn't think I'd be that good at it. Okay, maybe I won't have to spend money on a new stylist and a pad, because I think one of my kids has one. My kids are extremely creative. All right, so let's start going through this. And Nico, you're right. I need to try to figure out how to get this. Streamer mode is enabled. Usernames will be truncated. Disable. Okay, I want to do that. Let's see. It's like, well, okay. Help. Oops. Don't want to go to Discord help right now. All right, I will do that later, Nico. But that is a great call out. That yes, most of the time I hear it, I get it, but I don't know why I didn't get it on my phone either. Yeah, it didn't come through on my phone at all. All right. Back to where we were. Let's see. Where were we? You should make YouTube shorts. They are a type of video that are 1 minute. Yes, I've been downloading all of the streams, and I'm starting to go through those, being on the lookout for shorts. It would be too short. Yes, that is a great idea. The quality of the video that gets downloaded, it's extremely compressed. So I don't know. And I also then have to go through every little bit of it to see where I want to cut the shorts. So I have a plan as we're going through this to maybe make notes of what time I did something, so I'll know exactly when to go and cut it out of the video. But no, everything you're saying, I 100% agree with. And my oldest, he's like, you got to start making shorts. You got to start making shorts. And I go, I know. But all right, let's get going through is prime. So we need to be iterating through. So if we need to go through a number line, and so it's going to be 1 through to n by 2's, right? Is that basically what I'm thinking about? Because we go 1, then all right, 2 is we're going to have to defend against this 2. You can point out the difference between x is y if x is equal to y, equivalent to y. Sorry, some people don't know the difference, and it might cause some problems. Ooh, Nico, say that again. If you point out the difference between if x is y. Oh, is okay. Now I got it. Okay. I see your point, but I don't know. We haven't addressed an is, because let's just stick. You have a very good point about is it the number or is it equivalent? So I'll keep that in the back of my mind. But I think right now we just need to stick with the equivalency tests. But you have a very, very good point. I don't think that's a use case for this example, but that can be confusing. You're 100% correct. All right. So what's a Pythonic way to go to check through a series of numbers? Anybody have any guesses of how we can come through here and we can check and see instead of having to create our own counter? All right. Everybody knows the range function, right? Correct? Infern, you still here? You know the range function, correct? So inclusive, exclusive, and then step. That makes sense? Yeah, let's actually do this. All right, cool. So just in case somebody's here that doesn't know, we're going to go up to 8, and we're going to go by 2's, and then we close this out. So 1, 3, 5, 7. So we need to go through, all right, for I in range 1, then x plus 1 going by, okay. I've only used range number before. What is the others? Oh, okay, perfect. So what you're referring to? Why am I passing in three arguments? That is a great question. Thank you, Nico. All right. So it is the same rules as slicing. Your start, your stop, and your step. Your start point is inclusive. That's where it's exactly going to start. Exclusive, it goes right up in 2, but does not include. So as you can see right here, let's go back to our number line. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's an awful 5. I'm going to start that 5 over. 5, 6, 7. So if I were to do range, okay, can't do parentheses, range 1 through 8, this is what would happen right here. Because my starting point, which is inclusive, let's go back over here. Inclusive, included. So I always struggled with inclusivity and exclusivity. I remembered in school exclusive, exoskeleton, and then I go, well, wait a minute, inclusive. So that's the way I started to teach it. So inside, it is included. It is included, inclusive. So then one of them is included, one of them is excluded. So it goes up to 8, but does not include it. It goes right up and stops. So this is kind of like what I was talking about the other day. A decision had to be made, and this is just how they'd made it. So when I go range 1 through 8, starting point of 1, end point of 8, starts at 1, goes right up in 2, but does not include 8, and here it is. Now, when you add the last one, this step, how are you going to step through this? So if it starts at 1, am I turning yellow again? Is that what's my favorite color? I'd have to say blue. I got a lot of blue shirts. All right. So I come here, and so then I go start at 1. So if I were to change this to 2, and let's go up to 11. Then I would do this. So then I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I want 10 included, so I have to go 1 past it. Even though it's not a... I could go all the way up to 12 here. Let me show you. Get the same answer. So see, goes right up in 2, but it does not include this endpoint. And then these are the steps. What count are you going by? All right. Did that help, Nico? I think I'm gonna have to sit really close today because there is no lighting outside to help. I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and go buy another light. I don't want to spend any more money this week, or this month, but it is what it is. All right. Does that make sense? Did that help? All right. So now we need to go by 2s. Because, so I want to test, actually the more that we think about, we don't need to test this because we know it's divisible by itself. So let's just get rid of this. All right. And let's just print this out. Make sure this is going to work the way that we're wanting to, because we're going to do incremental development, right? We're going to do one thing at a time. And we're just going to build this. We're not going to build all of this all at one time. Oops. We're going to test 9. Helps if you can type correctly. And let's see what I do wrong. Haha. Okay. So mistyping. All right. Everybody see what I did there? This is also why I like running this, because it'll show you actually what you ran. So I passed in the art. When you're use the symbol like, you don't need to indent unless the code you're running needs another indent. Correct. That's one way that I teach, or I used to teach kids in school. That was how you knew if you had everything on your header line. Because especially this right here, I think my count was 5. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, and then 5 is optional with the stuff in the middle. So if we do def help, I can't use help, me, and then I enter. Oh shoot, I guess Spider does this automatically. But with the interpreter, let's come over here. Let's see, can you guys see this? Yeah. Def for I in range 5. All right, so see how it threw up? And if you do that in a file, and you'd go down to the same line and you wouldn't be indented, you knew you forgot your colon. So that would be the way that I would always have them test to make sure that they had everything that they needed. All right. But yes, the colon is an identifier that's built into the Python language that it goes, hey, all right, you've created a header line. I now know that you're about to start the body, and you want me to do all of these things either in this condition or in this scenario of a loop. So you have either a conditional test or a loop in the header. Or it's the name of a function or a method. I think that's pretty much all the scenarios. So all right, let's rerun this. F9. And then is prime. Okay, all right, cool. Here we go. 1, 3, 5. I think you need to read the message. I think you read the message wrong. Okay. When you use a symbol like colon, you don't need an indent unless the code you're running needs another indent. So if I need to indent in the body one more time, is that what you're saying? Did I understand that a little bit better now? You don't need an indent unless... Oh, are you talking about putting it all on one line? Yeah, okay, yes, I did see that. Yeah, but then it can get confusing. I see. Yes, you don't technically need it. Oh, I get it. I get what... Okay, here, let's go back to what Nico's talking about. So, yes, this is completely legal, but this is kind of like what I've been talking about, consistency. Yes, this is 100% legal, but if everybody else on the project you're working on is doing it this way, and then you throw some stuff in here, it could easily be, don't add the indent. It could easily be misread. So did you see the first thing I did is I grabbed it and then I moved it down here? Because you want to be, yes, that works. That is legal, 100%. But it's inconsistent, and I actually believe there's coding standards, and there's coding I believe stylist pip. There's actually best practices of how to write code, and you want to abide by that, so somebody can come behind you and read it. So yes, technically behind the anything after the colon, I use these one lines in return statements, so it's really easy to stop the code if an error happened without needing to stretch out any simple thing. True. I mean, it works. But just before you get so used to that, I just want to call out that that's not readily used, because everyone is expecting. Correct. I mean, it like I said, it works. It is legal in Python, but it is not very much appreciated in most style guides. I think it's like pep. Oh. Let's see. Let's see if I can remember style guide. Python code. Pep 8. There we go. This is what I'm trying to think about. Pep 8. So here is best practices of how to write code likewise. So it's just best practices. So correct, wrong, And then here's the correct way for this, and let's get down and see some returns. All right. Don't really have a team that helps me program, so I do all these complex things that are very hard to read, even though people tell me not to do it. And that's fine. I just don't want you to get too far down the rabbit hole and have that be the way that you're doing it, and then you have to relearn it when you get into if you start working for an organization who has expectations that you're going to abide by this PEP 8 style guide. So I just don't want you practice whatever you want to be, I guess is one way to put it. So you don't want to be doing something that you're going to have to unlearn later. And that's from an older guy who has numerous examples in his life where he practiced something and then he had to unlearn it. And it was and then there was actually a competition that I did where I practiced this one thing and I was like, I'll remember. And that's been the bane of that lie that I've told myself, that I'll remember things, has been the bane of my existence. And I'm still battling that to this day. And that lie that my subconscious tells myself does not win all the time, but it wins. It still wins. All right. Okay. So here we are. So we are now moving through. Actually, let's get rid of this because we need to handle the 2. Because right now, if we were to pass in 2, that would fail. So we're gonna run this because we need to have a bucket to handle if 2 is an even number. So all right, is prime. We get 1 through 8. So right now, we need to test. If any of these numbers divide evenly into 9. So let's go in here. All right. And comment this out. We don't need it. So if X, anybody have any oh, hey, Raul. Glad to have you here. I don't want to be doing this just to be doing this. You guys give me some thoughts on now my Discord is flashing. Okay. There we go. I still didn't get. I don't want to have. Okay. All right. I'll turn up the speaker. There we go. It was at least flashing to let me know that I had something. All right, Nico, let's see. What do you got? Screen print list. Then you have interesting. You have a nested function. Very cool. All right, you're mapping X and Y, mapping the int A split. Okay, if X is greater than game size, will return. Interesting. What does this do? What does this accomplish? Give me a use case for that. I want some guidance about data science. All right, Raul, let's finish the prime, and then we can talk about data science. What do you want to, what kind of guidance do you want about data science? Raul, okay, I gotcha. Let's see. All right, Raul. What expand on the data science? Ask me a specific question. Let's see. Hang on. I want to know what percentage Python required for data science. Well, I mean, it depends on. That's what I struggle with. I mean, how much Python do you know? I mean, the machine learning. I mean, are you talking about? Are you going to be data engineering part of the data science? I mean, there's the data science bucket breaks up into a lot of different things, and that's actually an aspiration that I have. Is I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go into data science, or if I want to try to go into data engineering? But I mean, it's a very, because in my old job I was a data analyst, but I was heading more towards the data engineering side of handling all of the data, and I was sending it into different places and writing it to tables in GCP, BigQuery. I'm sorry. But all right, give me a more pointed question while I'm working on this. All right, does anybody have any? What do I need to do in this if statement? So I know you want to learn Python, but I mean, can you solve this is prime function? Because you have to learn how to walk before you can run, right? And data science is a marathon. So we need to be conditioned of how to problem solve, because one of the things that I found very interesting, and we were talking about this the other day, is that I was tell you about file handling. What aspect about file handling? How to just bring in an Excel file in Pandas? All right, Raul. In Python, sure. I mean, have you played around with the Pandas module at all? You want to become very versed in problem solving. Like, we were looking at this yesterday, and Nico was like, "Yeah, I think I have an idea," and then he was working on it on his machine, and let's see. JSON. Okay. Are you aware that JSON and a Python dictionary are basically the exact same? Are you aware of that before we get too far into this? But the point of this exercise is you're going to do solving problems like this. You spend so much of your time handling things like this. How would you solve this? One of my last things that I had to solve was we converted from one table design to another table design, and how were we were going to be having to handle more information than we were originally expecting. So we had to problem solve. So when I had this happen, how is this going to work? How is this going to behave? What am I going to do differently? But you want to find... Okay. All right, Raul. Kind of going to give you a warning here. If you keep spamming, I'm gonna kick you. Okay. All right. Deal? All right. Okay. So back to here. Anybody have... There we go. Okay. I think I did that right. Sorry, Raul. We're trying to have a civil discussion. So there we go. All right. Oh, now, Nico, any guesses how to go about doing this? How to solve this issue? So if we're going to go through every number, I'm going to, like I said, peanut butter and jelly this thing. So let's think about your elegant solution here, where you had your true and return. And as we're moving through, see, because this is going to be a function that's going to be used later. So this is basically our solution. I want you to think about this. This is perfect because we don't need output. We need a Boolean because we're going to use this later. Does that make sense? So check this out. So if x modulo I equals 0, now this is where it gets weird. All right. Does this make sense? Okay. F9. There we go. Okay, here we go. False. Now, is that correct? Now let's do our edge case too. Okay, so we have a problem here. So this should have returned true. So this is where testing is vital. Because so we can either go in and handle this right now, because this is our endpoint. So let's just handle this in a minute. And I'm trying to remember how I did it. But actually, no, I'm not going to try to remember it. We're going to work through this. All right. So if x equals 2, return true. All right. Let's run this again. Let's see if this works. True. 9. False. Give me another. Was 11? Is 11 a prime number? Let's check. Prime numbers. All right. Okay, we have a problem because 11 should be a prime number. So it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. So we have a little bit of a problem. All right, let's see what's wrong with our design. Let's do 4. False. 10. False. Why is 11 failing? Let's work on this path. All right. What's wrong with your code? There we go. Haha, Nico. Just turned up my speaker. Just heard it. And it popped up in the corner. All right, let's see. Command. You're taking in args and quargs. Args. So as you pass in args, you're calling a help function. All right, let's look at this. Tuple indices. Okay. Type error. So always go down to the type error. So it's failing. It's telling you it's failing on your third line. Help args. So it's on the third line, and then tuple indices must be integer or slicing, not a string. While true, command input args command.split command args. All right. But let's go back to the type error. It says type tuples. All right, everybody, so everybody can see what I'm reading. All right, Nico sent me this. Nico's working on something. All right, let's put this in here. All right, so you always want to go and investigate what it's telling you. So it's pointing you to exactly where this is. So you need to go and look at, so you're rejoining. So I want you to think about, okay, tuple indices. So you need to do a type. So right now it's telling you you're trying to pass a string in instead of an integer. Does that make sense? So you need to do a type on whatever you're trying to slice. So you're trying to slice right here. So args, or you're passing in. Yeah, this is a perfect example of you want to get in the habit of using type. So wherever you're failing, I think I talked about this just the other day, that you're going to have a time where you're going to be like you're expecting to be slicing right here, and you actually have a string. So it may be an integer in your head, but it also may look exactly like this. V1 for the range as a number prime, and okay, hang on. I think Infern has a guess of why the code is broken. But yeah, Nico, go back and look at this. Whatever you're trying to slice right here, it's something. It's this line right here. All right, and it's telling you tuple indices. So you have a tuple because you're taking in args. So args defaults to a tuple. So do a print statement inside of this, and then do type, and then you're going to be able to see it. All right, now let's get back to Infern. Infern has a solution. I love it. All right, let's get back up here. Okay, should not be including 1 in the range. There we go. Because 1 is divisible. Great catch. Yeah, you can unpack a list. A variety of ways. All right, Infern, great catch. Let's F9 this thing. There we go. Let's check. Let's check 2. True. Let's check 13. 13. And let's 9. Did we check 9 yet? I don't think. Okay, now we have a problem. 9 should be false. So let's go through here. So Nico, this may help because you're going to watch me go through this. So, all right. Because 9 is not a is not true. It is not a prime number. Why is that doing that? All right. Command split is a list. Okay. So unpack the list. All right. So let's go back through here. So X and I. So X's and I's. Let's go through here. Cool. Good job, Nico. All right. And you're 100% correct, because it will default when it gets through to the end of this for loop. Bingo. Very nice. But that's weird because it should have hit dead code when it got here and did the 3 and should have returned false. That's what threw me off, because we did test here. Because once this hit here to 3, that path should have killed it, and it shouldn't have returned anymore. That's what stumps me on this. All right. The code was trying to search parts of the tuple in the tuple. It was supposed to put parts of the tuple in the help function. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. All right. Now, let's check. We're going to check all these. Let's do something here. Now we're going to test this. Let's see. For I in range, let's go up to 15. Print I and is prime I. F9. Okay, let's check this out. 0 true, 1 true, 2 true. So we need to we need to handle this. So true, 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 false. Anybody seeing any issues? 11, then the next one is 13, and actually let's come up here. Let's do 30, because we should get 10. Let's clean this up some. If is prime I. There we go. We still need to handle this problem. Come on. There we go. F9. Let's see. 1, 2. These are wrong. Like I said, we need to handle this. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, and 23 and 29. All right. Very cool. It did not. Wait a minute. It did not hit the statement because it was starting with 9, which was false. Therefore, it ended the loop. Yeah, but didn't we get 9? Didn't it say prime? Let's see. So in this version, see, that's what I guessed when it got to 3. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're exactly right. It was failing. So we could go and Nico, here's a perfect example of what we should have been doing. It never got to 3. Bingo. 100%, because it was getting here to the true because it was jumping out. This is why order of operations and understanding how your path is working is so important. So, Nico, this is actually very close to all of these issues. You're going to be running into all of this. And I go back to, because you can get false positives all the time, and you can get false negatives. So your path is vital. Actually, while we're doing this, let me pull up one of my the first times I actually did is prime. Let me see if I can. Let's see the difference between us doing this on, because we still need to handle. This is still not correct, because this is handling this. We're getting 0 and 1 being true. So let's come down here. This is incorrect, because inside numbers 1 through 30, it's 10 prime numbers, and we're getting these two right here. So this is not accurate. So I said I wasn't going to do this, but now this is driving me nuts because the number triangle that I did, let's see, recent files, yes, let's do open, is prime, let's look for is prime, is even, prime, there we go, open, alright, and then we're going to look for nth prime. I think I started, yeah. This is how I handled. And see that this was one of my first. Oh, you want to see how bad this was? Okay, so check this out. Let's comment this out. And yeah. Wrong way. Let's copy this. This is how bad the code I wrote. Whoa. The code I wrote when I was first starting. So check this out. This is how I thought about things. So let's see what I did here. The way that my brain first worked is I was like, okay, I need to build a list to see if something was. So I was going through all of these. I was checking all of them, and then if it was divisible, I was putting it into the list. And then after the entire list was checked, I checked to see if it had any contents in it. And I was like, this is absolutely awful. And then let me show you the next thing that how I improved it. Then I was like, all right, I think, all right, awesome. Thanks for hanging out, Infern, and thanks for pointing out the things. All right, so then how I evolved is I came to here. Oops. And let's see if this, come on. I found a built-in function named compile in Python. What does it do? You found a built-in function? Is it in built-ins? Import built-ins. Is that where it is? Well, read, talking about that right there. Did you read the documentation on it? So help dot built-ins dot compile. Compile. Is that right? And I did not spell compile right. Why did I not spell compile right? There you go. So let's see. I don't think I've ever used compile. Source code can be executed by exec or eval. Do you know the eval function? Evaluate? Because you can actually, all right, since we're here and we're tiptoeing around this, I didn't know when we were going to do this, but check this out. Because I know in VB.NET you can pass in a string. If it's digits, it understands. So 5 plus 6. Check this out. Using this, Python understands that yes, this is a string, but it also understands that this is an operand and these are digits. So be very careful with how I'm saying that. I'm saying digit, not integer, because this is a string. So it's like all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs, and all rectangles are all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. So it falls under this bucket that this is a digit, like a fluid. A gas and a liquid are fluids. It understands that this is in a range of ASCII values, that this is a digit, and it can be then converted to an integer or a float. So that's why this works. All right. Okay, so let's go back here. Infern is gone, so I'm on my own to see if I can, if I can remember. Oh yeah, I'm not in the interpreter. I'm in Spider. So, all right. So let's bring this back. And here we are. Let's go all the way up here. And 9. So this is false. And let's test. Let's see. I found another way to create a dictionary. Very cool. All right. Let's bring this down here. Let's get this to test our. Let's get out from under there. And let F9 this thing. All right, so technically, even this, my old version of this is passing. I never saw that. That I was only testing all of these. I wasn't actually testing here. I think when I do the nth prime, you guys know what the nth prime is? And it's like if I were to say find the 10th prime number. That's interesting because now I remember the way that I was doing this is I was starting at 2. I found if you wanted the first prime number, hang on everybody. Hey, you want me to feed them? I can do it now. All right, hang on, everybody. Nico, anybody who comes in and wonders where I am, tell them I got to feed the dogs. All right. Appreciate it. Still, they're eating right now, and I gotta get my wife her coffee, and then we'll go from there. So, but right now, let's see. Make sure you like the video. Appreciate it, Nico. All right. So technically, this is not correct. So this is very similar to. Let's see. Did I change this any from here to here? And then I don't want you to cheat and look at the is prime or the nth prime, but we're gonna look at that in a minute. All right, I think they're almost done. So we need to fix this because this is incorrect. All right, be right back. Almost done. Thanks, Nico. All right, I'm coming back, guys. Okay, let's see. Okay. Hey, Alex, how are you? Okay. What if Python had pointers? Concept. Well, I mean, technically it does. It points to objects in memory. Let's see. Do I get the lighting right? I know what pointers are, but I don't know how it's used because I'm not. It just points to information of where it is in memory and then utilizes it. So that's one of the things that Python did, because Nico, we kind of talked about this the other day. Python came about because it filled a gap in languages for the team that was at I believe the CERN Collider, and it took aspects of, I think it was I've read this, it's been so long since I've read it. It took aspects of ABC, a bunch oh my goodness, Gordo. He took aspects of things that he liked about each individual language and put it into one language, and it solved a lot of problems. And that was the reason he solved a problem with a programming language. And that was why the community was built, and he started showing it off, and everybody just began loving it. And then he made it open source, and everybody had all these different ideas, and then they began updating it said, ooh, we need to try this, we need to try this. And then you had the kind of the division of Python 2 and Python 3 and the split there. So, all right, let's see. Let's get back to it. How are you doing today, Alex? I don't know where you are. Wait a minute. Alex, were you in Argentina? I can't remember, but that's super cool to me, that we have folks all around the globe. Okay. All right. We need to fix this is prime first. So we need to defend against 1 and 0. And I realized that I did not get, I got my drink that I hadn't drank yet. Okay. How to stay hydrated. I don't do a really good job with that. All right. So these two are wrong. So we need to look at how am I handling this right here. Is prime passing into, so 2. How is this? Let's stick with this. We've already started here. So let's bring this in. Let's F9 this. And we're failing. 1 is failing. And 0 is failing. All right. Let's make this an elif. Whoa. All right, do you guys know elif? And it's if. I'm in Mexico City. Where are you located? I'm in Alabama. So, continental United States. Central time zone. Nico, I feel like I'm getting orange. Much oranger. Do I have my lights all the way up? I do. I have no more front light. It is still so cloudy here. We have a bunch of overcast. All right. All right, so we need to fix this. But does everybody know elif? Elif is used for testing for multiple things while still having an option to use else. That's a really good explanation. I like that. All right. So let's go ahead and get this going. And do you know why? Because here's a more technical. Do you know why to use if and not an elif? Or why to use an elif instead of an if? If, let's see. I almost started to do SQL between if x greater than, so I want to grab your stream is frozen. I wonder if it's on my end. Let's see. Let me see the stream health. Let's see. It's yellow. I got okay, it's back green. I wonder if the frames per second began to drop. Possibly. All right. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right. if x is less than equal to, let's see, let's go, no, 0. I remember when I first saw this, x greater than equal to return false. All right, so let's check this out. So this is one of the things, well, I kept falling more in love with Python, but I want you to look at this. So this is completely legal, and if you look at this, these are pointing in the exact, so I have, this is the equivalent of like a between in SQL, and I've tried to get something like this to work, but I have this drawn out in between, and I have this legally pointing, so it's right here. So let's get this tested up. Well, no, let's just run this. This solves everything, and there we go. I've solved this problem just by logically thinking through, what do I have? So now if it is 0 or 1, it is not a prime number. If it is 2, it is a prime number. So then now let's start here. Let's see if we can expedite this just a little bit. Let's see if this still works, and F9 this. So all right, what'd I just do there? What'd I just clean this up a little bit more? So now I sped this up. So I'm blocking against 0 and 1 because those were inaccurate. If it's 2, it is a prime, but then I'm going to start at 3 and then go to our argument that is passed in x, and I'm going by 2's because it is only an odd number, because a prime number excluding 2 is odd. So you can hotwire this, you can expedite this and make this a little bit faster by only looking at odd numbers, and that's what we're doing here. So now, so now we've completely created a very clean, and see how I validated this? I've never validated it like this before, but basically I took every number 0 through 29 and I checked, and that was when I found out that my isPrime function was not operating 100% accurately, because I didn't think about testing 0 and 1. I think when I used my nth prime, I defaulted to 3, and I've already counted 1. So all right, anybody know what the nth prime is? How to even, so in math, an nth number is just how far are you going? So let's look at this. And that's as much advanced mathematics as I know. So it's the equivalent of this. Whoa. It's the equivalent of this. And I'm sure you've seen this. 1, 2, 3, ... nth. Right? So you've seen this where it comes all the way through. And it has these examples. All right, so it's like, where do you stop? And you're not going to call it the 12th or the 13th or the 23rd or the 25th, but it's the nth. It's where you stop. So if we were to, so right here, this, well, that doesn't work. Let's bring this down here. This is now our working. Whoa. Undo, bring over, paste. So now this is our 100% accurate is prime number. So now we need to build an nth. How to find the nth prime number. So if I wanted to, in the example that if I were to enter I want the 10th prime number, 29 would come out. So if I entered def nth prime, and I were to pass in x, I'm not very good. I'm not very creative with my variables. Pass. So if I were to pass this, if I were to call nth prime and pass in 10th, it would output 29. That's what I want to have happen. That's the goal. That is the goal of this function, nth prime. Pass in what actual prime number you want, and then get 29 to come out. So how in the world would we even begin to do this? Well, our building block of is this prime? So we have, let's get started. And delete. And brush. So we have our first prime is 2. Our next prime is 3. That is awful. Next prime is 3. Next prime is 5. Should probably actually look at this. 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So if we entered 5, we should get 11. I almost write as well as I do with a mouse as I do with a pen, since I don't write that much. That's kind of sad. All right. No. Let's try that again. Why can't I drag my mouse directly? There we go. All right, that was awful. All right, so that's our cheat sheet. Well, first we're going to be utilizing our is prime, right? Because this is doing our heavy lifting. So if we look, and where'd my paint go? So if we look, we probably need to do something about here, where if 1 is entered, we get 2. And then we start here, right? Because it can only be these. Because again, we're only going to check. We're only going to, hang on. Did anybody catch this? This is not, 8 is not a prime. Okay. We need to go back because our is prime is broken. Let's see. Whoa, we have a major problem. That is not right. Okay. 4 is not a prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is completely wrong. So we need to fix this now before we can get to our nth prime. Oh my word. Okay. So 2, 3, why is this coming out? So let's go through this. So 4, we need to look at our print statement. We need to get a print statement in here and get this going. Let's get this going first. Let's find out why in the world it thinks 4 is a prime number. All right. All right, let's go through this. Let's make sure 0 is false. 1 is false. All right. Okay. Return true. Hey, do you know any way to make a function that when you run it, it stops the current running file and then starts it? Okay, let me reread that. Hey, do I know of any way to make a function that when run, it will stop the current file? It would be, my first gut is having something be asynchronous. That's what pops into my head. So it would be inside the file, and it would be running and checking, and then once it hit this function, I mean, you could do a break. So there's a couple of different ways you could do it. I would need the use case exactly. But like when it began to start, like it would just be a condition. I mean, you'd trigger something. So it's either an asynchronous issue where it's sitting and running and waiting, or a condition of, hey, when this happens, stop the execution of this file, break out of this, and then run this. That's my first go-to. Don't know exactly. I want something that stops itself, then starts it again. Like if I made changes to it, I needed the Python code to be run again. The changes to appear. Oh, so like if you made a change to inside the file while it would be running. Well, now you're getting more. Now, if I understood that, so you want a file that is constantly running. Well, okay, so my first gut goes, you would be referencing another Python file, and then basically it'd be sitting there waiting and looking for changes. So you would have it be constantly looking to see if that Python file gets resaved. So if we're talking this, so this is only me partially knowing. So we'd be running a while loop and constantly be looking for another file if the file date update got changed, or if it got resaved, or something like that. That's where I would attack that. If I'm understanding your issue. But all right, I want to get this solved, because now I don't know why I'm not getting this. So now I want to run this to make sure. Okay, so let's see the difference between these two and this. Did I get fancy and cause an issue when I changed from 2? Let's go back to 2 and make this slow. All right. Okay. So I'm inadvertently causing a problem with when I'm changing this to 3. Interesting. And I'm going up. Well, now I want to know. So, all right. I'm making the edited version of the command thing that lets you do print hello world without needing a file, and I want to be able to restart it when it restarts itself for the new. Changes will appear. In Discord, give me an example of the output or the scenario, and then I might be able to help you. But I'm kind of intrigued right now of why in the world this isn't working. So I'm going to be doing some debugging here, and there's a whole argument of please don't use print for debugging. I don't really get that argument. I mean, how are you to know what, because you know what you're thinking is happening, but you don't know what's happening until you have it happen. So, all right. And until you have it come out to the screen. So, print I. So now I'm going to F9 this. Two and false. So now let's change this to 3. And aha, that's why, is because we're skipping over 2. There we go. That's why. And I did not catch that, because now it's not going to grab our even numbers. Okay. So that's the dilemma with this. So if you look right here, but why does it? Oh, it fails on 9 when it gets to 9. So now let's run this. So when I run 4, it passes, and when I run 8, it passes because it is failing on 2. All right. Well, I do want to speed this up some and figure out how I need to get this to check. Let's see. We could do one more. Yeah, we can do one more. All right, 1LF x modulo 2 equals 0. Return false. All right, I think we clean this up a little bit more. We can comment this out. F9. False. 4. And then now let's run this. Sorry, does everybody see what I did? Whoa. Okay, let's kill this. Let's. My bad. That's a lot of prints. Okay. Here we go. This will be a lot cleaner. Okay. This should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. All right. Does everybody see how I handled this? And even a year ago, a year ago, I would have thrown up trying to do this live coding and figuring all this out. But this is real life, where you're sitting here and you're trying to solve these issues. And you're like, oh my God, how's this happening? So let's go through everything that I'm doing here, and I'm being very clean about this. So I actually learned that my old isPrime function was garbage, because it was actually returning that 0 and 1 were prime numbers. Let's see if we can go back up. How far can we go back up? That's the only thing I don't like. Here we go. That right there. That is inaccurate. So I created a garbage function. Did not know that for years and years. I've been walking around teaching this function to design it that way that it works. And lo and behold, when I actually did validation, real validation, which I've learned very well over the last 2.5 years. Stress testing, validation, edge case scenarios, all of this. And actually, let's really stress test this, because now that I'm thinking about it, minus 20 through 30. Let's see if my greater than, less than or equal to is working. See? This should all be failing. So now this should be x less than 2. Let's clean this up. Okay, changed my mind. Changed my mind. Let's see. If you guys know or x or x less than 2. Check this out. Bingo. All right. Do you guys know the and and the or operators? Let's see. Let me make sure. I don't think it's an operand. Operand is a symbol. And or Python. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure I used the right word. Operator. So have you guys ever seen an and or operator and what it does? So basically what I'm doing is I'm testing either of these scenarios, if it's divisible by 2 or it's less than 2. So any of these right here, because we were doing the 0 and 1, that was wrong, but also these right here. So now when I did this output, I still get my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So boom. Okay. So now we've cleaned this up. So all right. I'll quickly do the nth because we've been here. We're coming up on 2 hours because I think I started at 7:15 my time. So let's see. So we know 2 and then everything else. So so we need to start prime equals 1. We need to have a few, if I remember. Count equals 1. Prime equals 3. So if x equals 1, print, nope, return 2. So all right, so I'm hardwiring in the first prime number because everything else I want to go up by 2s because I want to be efficient. I want to be as cost efficient as possible and making sure that I'm not wasting processor effort. So then prime 3, so then every time we find a prime number, we're going to increment our counter. All right, does that make sense? So now if we want to find, and this is wrong. We're not assigning, we're doing an equivalency test. Is anybody super new here that doesn't know the difference between this and this? Just double checking. Because I know we have a lot of new people dropping in and out all the time. So is there anybody here who doesn't understand the difference between line 160 and 161, what these two are doing? Just double check. All right. So now, let's see. I don't know quite. Let's see. So if a 2 is entered, if the second 2 is entered, then we're going to test. We need a counter to go from, or we need to increment up. So we're not going to be doing a for loop, and we need to be doing while true. While true. Everybody, has anybody not seen a while loop. Is there anybody here who hasn't seen a while loop? Because while loops are very powerful and they just keep doing stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Alex. So let's see. We're going to test to see, because we need to have our starting point. Let's come back over here. We need a visual. So right now, if we enter 1, we get 2. So what will happen if we enter 2? And this is literally how I suggest going about it. What if? So if I enter 2, what is the test that I'm going to see? And what is the output that I'm going to want to have happen? So I should get 3, right? I guess we don't need to go back because we have these right here. So while true, and I have this defaulted to, and I guess technically here. So this is basically our starting point. So our prime number is 3 and our count is 2. And then every time up, we're going to, num. Let's see. And our number. Num equals 1. We'll start there. I may have to drop here and we'll pick up here tomorrow, and then we'll look at some database stuff. So, and then I'll also figure out how to make this look dark so you guys would be able to see, because I know I get real yellow. Preferences. No. I'll find this out. Yeah. Appearance. Appearance. Haha. I know there's a way, because one of my old coworkers had his dbeaver in dark mode, and it actually looked really, really cool. It actually looked quite cool. All right. Your args video was in light mode. Appearance. You saw appearance? Yeah, I thought I was there. I didn't see mode. So wonder. So yeah, I'll do some research on this. But all right, I think, yeah, we're starting to have some more activity around the house. But all right, and I've been on for 2 hours, so I don't want to be too selfish. But all right, we're gonna pick back up here tomorrow, and then we're gonna look at some dbeaver stuff. And very true. Was there themes? I did not see themes, but I'll find it, because I know it's harder on the eyes when it gets recorded. I've heard that a lot. Thank you, Nico. I really appreciate it. As always, thank you for helping let everybody know when I got to deal with the dogs. But all right, yeah, we'll pick back up here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. I'd probably be a little bit later, maybe 45 minutes. Maybe not. I don't know. Trying to adjust and get used to all this. But thank you, everybody, for being here. If you've not joined the Discord, make sure you're joining the Discord, hitting that like and subscribe button. But you guys are great, and I really appreciate it. And we really went through and solved some things that I didn't even know that I had bugs in. So that's why I love this place so much. But let's see. All right, no problem. See you tomorrow. And thank you so much. Can you put up one of those chats that show on the recording? Do the chats not show up on the recording? Is that what you were saying? Right. Okay, I got to go. But Nico, ask me that tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye.